Hey everyone. Topic today is the blame game, which is one of the initial reasons that I even created this channel was to stop the blame game. So I thought today let's focus strictly on what the blame game actually is. If you were following along with me on the Bible that I'm trying to read, and forgive me if it feels like I'm not taking that serious enough. I'm trying to just enjoy it, okay? Hopefully you can with me. But, and I do take everything God says in the Bible extremely seriously when it comes to how to live life. I don't necessarily follow everything. I've still got so much to grow from, and I'm too old, but yet too young. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. You can help me. Anyway, Cain and Abel we had talked about. So, and also, Adam and Eve with eating the apple. We had covered some of those topics. We saw a lot of blame going on there. Who did what and to who. So, it's really hit me that we need to cover the blame game. And forgive me, I'm like sweating like a horn church. I'll tell you which. Okay, so well, a slut in church. Okay, that would be me. And I've been there, and it's hot. The weather's just really, really humid today, and it's like, ugh. But anyway, we're gonna make it through this, whether we like it or not, or I like it or not. So, what is the blame game? Or things, when you're looking at blaming somebody else for the situation that you're in, and literally, um, I'm probably going to be homeless really soon, living in my vehicle, which will be repossessed after 3 or 4 months of not making payments, with 2 cats and carriers. And I don't know where we're going to get money for food or anything. I mean, I'm not really going to be able to work because I won't have any money to take a shower. I won't, I don't know. I do not know what we're going to do, but we're going to live out every second until we pass away as best we can. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm in a situation where I could blame somebody else that recently stole $19,000 from me. I spent 3 years rebuilding my credit from my divorce and just gotten it. He racked up all this credit. That's 15,000 of it right there, which I can't pay. And then, he ended up, it was like 25,000. To be honest with you, now that I think about it, because there's the credit, there's the $5,000 for an attorney, there was $6,000 to pay his bail. I'm making a video on it. You'll see how crazy this is. We were in a business venture together, also talking about marriage. I was potentially going to get married, and then at that point I was going to take care of my health issues and hopefully have a decent, longer life with this individual. And he racked up all my credit, got music equipment, took off, and my church left me sit with all the bills and gave him money and everything to start a whole new life. So there's 2 videos. There's the church video and there's the video on him. And that has since bankrolled me. Not only that, but some things he had done cost me my job. So I'm out of work. It's been an insane last 6 months, I'm telling you. And I'm not going to sit and I'm not going to blame anybody but myself and say, oh, it was a learning lesson. Even if it's the learning lesson that leads me to death row, then it did. Hopefully it's the last lesson I have to learn. I worry more about my pets than anything else. I will not, after, my ex-husband killed, my dog and my cats, I will not part the earth without them. If need be, they will go with me. And I'm putting my life in God's hands. That's the way it is. But you'll learn more about that as we go. Even if I'm living in my vehicle, I'm still going to try to make videos. And probably not going to look so great. Deal with it. I don't know. Anyway, get back to the blame game. So, The first thing I try to focus on before I cast blame on somebody else for the situation that I'm in. And I just brought this one up as the most current situation, so I did have to take a look at these things to take some ownership myself. And one was to know what they did that hurt me. So, do I know where the hurt is coming from? There's a huge amount of different hurts. One that he was lying to me the whole time. He just needed to get out of his current state because there was a warrant for his arrest. When we found that out, when he got arrested here, I helped him do everything I could, taking him back and forth to that state to get it legally cleared up and handled properly in the court system so he could restart his life. During the course of that, he also found somebody else around here. So as soon as he thought everything would be said and done, he took off with her. And it just left me sit with everything. But he waited long enough to get everything he wanted out of me. Now, whether or not they stayed together, I don't know. But his whole point was he didn't really want to be with me. He wanted his freedom, and he couldn't afford to buy his freedom. And he wanted, all this equipment and all this other stuff. And, I know he's doing really well because somebody sent me a lovely post where he bought a $3,000 guitar. And I'm like, I wonder whose credit he used for that. But do I know what hurt me? Primarily his lie, the fact that he was just a con man, and that he did everything he could. I mean, we lived together for months to convince me that he really loved me, that I was beautiful, I was, the person he'd always been looking for. He felt God put us together, type thing. So he knew just what to say, and swooned me enough for me to believe in him. And that's all it took, was the belief in him. Granted, I didn't give him anything till he was living here with me. And then, because we were such a couple, I took him into my church. I, got him to know people, trying to get him involved in the community, and he stabbed me in the back. But that's what hurt. The lies, the deceit, hurt more than if it was a friend asking for help. Where I would have still tried to help him in any way I could. I wouldn't have invested that much in him where I would have lost my whole life. But when I was looking at him as a life partner, that was a different investment. We were sharing it 50-50. He was, getting a job, and, I was helping him get that, giving him a vehicle to drive, everything so that he could pay, 50% of this stuff. And unfortunately, it was all just a big lie. So that hurt, was losing trust in mankind. And I think that was the last bit of trust I had to give human beings. I mean, I don't have anything left to give. And that includes trust. So, that hurt. That hurt worse than thinking of me and my cats dying in my vehicle. That doesn't bother me as much as the thought that once, I thought I was beautiful, I thought I was wanted, I thought I was loved. After a huge, long time of, my second husband trying to kill me, my first husband beating me, my middle fiance in between there turning out to be gay, all these things where I thought I was loved and I never was loved, and that includes for my parents. So all of a sudden I felt, okay, I really feel loved, and to know it was all a lie just kind of made me face the reality that I'm unlovable, that I definitely am not beautiful. I'm just an easy target for people because I wear my heart on my sleeve, I care, and I trust. And those things I have to stop doing. I have to stop caring so much. I have to stop trusting. I have to just keep to myself, which is, I've been doing that for 3 or 4 years, and it's a very barren, lonely life to not even have a friend to call on the phone and talk to or anything. So, is it such a bad thing that me and my cats go in my vehicle and die? I don't think so. I think this might be a blessing in disguise that I'm being forced to do this. The other avenues I would have taken, drawn up medical bills trying to take care of my health, which is potentially curable. But without a doctor's care and treatments and procedures, and, like if I have a surgery, who is there to take care of me? Nobody. I don't even have a friend I can call to sit with me for a couple of days, or even to drive me to the hospital and back. I don't have that. I have none of that. So, there's no way I can do anything to help my health, despite, even if you get rid of the medical bills, that, you know, he gave me hope in a way that might be possible, and that life could be a good thing, and that I was being given a second chance, but the lies gave me hope that was never there. It wasn't. It's all just a big con game, um, that cost somebody their life. So that hurt. That hurt a lot. That hurt a lot. Okay. Um, what did I lose? Well, I wouldn't even say pride, because I'm not. I mean, I'll tell anybody about it. So whoa, just wait. My cards. I wouldn't say my pride is hurt. I don't really have pride, because I don't care what people think. So, um, what do I have to lose? And it's not even my life. I don't value my life that greatly that losing it is a painful thing. The loss of hope in mankind is what I lost. I lost all hope and faith in mankind through this one human being. He was like, it wasn't just him. He's just the final straw to a long list of people that if you, watch some of my previous videos, you'll kind of understand. And I may not even be able to get all, literally there's 600 videos that I could make on people that ripped me off and lied to me and stole from me and abused me, or I've got them all written at topic, not the full topics, but primarily the titles written out, and I could do up to 600. That's how abused I have been in 52 years. So this was just the final straw of my complete loss of faith in mankind. And, I take with me the, people would say, well, loss of life. Possibly, but I don't think I was living. I think for the last 3 or 4 years since my ex tried to kill me, I haven't lived. I haven't found that person or people that I can even go somewhere and hang out with, or sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk with, or feel comfortable with. I still, to this day, eat everything out of packages. I don't trust anybody with my food. I can only drink bottled water. There's some things that no matter how much therapy you get, when someone tries to kill you that way, you don't heal. I can't trust, he hired a hitman and stuff, and they even hired a guy to come in and play my boyfriend, that just to get into my vicinity and get to my security system. They went to great depths for an entire year to try to get me dead, because they were so afraid of getting caught. And they know me. I will not shut up. I won't stop. And in death, they think that's going to end it. Oh no, sweetheart. In death, I'm stronger. My body will be autopsied, and it will speak volumes, because poison never leaves your organs. So regardless, some of the kidney and liver issues that I'm having are still from the poison residing in my organs. They will be there forever. It doesn't mean that, even if I get my other medical issues covered, that this is healing. You still can slowly die from the poisoning. Once it's in there, it is killing you every day. So a lot of things I've learned that I never knew about certain, chemical compounds that go into your body. And people who take meth they're cutting their life expectancy extremely short. Okay, I'm telling you, you're poisoning yourselves. Whether you like it or not, you are. Um, and anyway, I don't, those are all other videos that I'll go much in depth with, but the loss of life doesn't bother me as much as probably watching, knowing my cats. Um, my kitten, he's just a ball of life, and he's kept me going for the last year. And I just laugh at him, and he gives me such joy at how much he just loves dumb things like chasing a toy or running, looking out a window. And knowing that his life expectancy is much shorter hurts too. That hurts me more than me, my life expectancy being shorter. So there's a lot that was lost and is still forthcoming to be lost from it. Why did it hurt? It hurt because there was no love. It hurts because the loss of everything else is greater than the financial loss. It hurts because there's no way back from this. There's none. I know people say, well, file bankruptcy. I had to do that after the divorce. I can't for 10 years. So I'm beyond screwed. It's all, there's no hope. None. Why does it hurt? It hurts because I have faith. I have great faith in not just mankind, but this human being. And to just steal somebody's life to the point of death is just unfathomable. But when you look at the route society is going, people are killing for inheritance and life insurance every day. There needs to be some legality of this because too many people are dying for this stuff. And people don't care if you're alive or dead. They don't. They want what you have. And they don't want to work for it. And I spent 3 years working 60 to 80 hours a week. I'm not even joking. Sometimes 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hour days. For months. Just to be able to put food in my fridge and get back on my feet. I was exhausted, I was tired, and this person comes along with no job, no nothing, and just cleans house. It's everything I worked for 3 years without blinking an eye. This person, why did it hurt? They went around the community that I recently moved into and had me blackballed. So as I tried to get to know people, I couldn't even do that because they said, I am a woman who hates men and just wants to get them arrested. I was trying to get him out of my home, not arrested. I'm like, really? If I'm that woman, why did I pay $6,000 to get him out of jail? No. I'm not the kind of woman who wants every man arrested and hates men. I hate con artists, liars that steal $25,000 from me. I want them in jail. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. It's not a blame game. That's just justice and owning the truth, okay? But people are so stupid. They sat around and actually think that of me right now. Why? Because this idiot is running around and they're just believing everything he's saying. And am I defending myself? No, I'm not. I won't. You want to believe nonsense and let him rip you off? Go ahead. Eventually he's going to rip one of you off. And I'm going to sit back at it getting the last laugh and go, well, you're an idiot. Why would I pay somebody's bail for $6,000? If I wanted him in jail, I'd have left him there, idiots. So, why did it hurt? Because You can't trust anybody, not even your local police. He convinced police officers of this. I have no criminal history. He's got like 10 pages from 2005 to current, okay? And they still would believe him. You idiots. There's got to be a drug trade there. Because I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway. What part did I play in it happening? Being naive, being stupid, being trusting. Yeah, I should have made him put money on the table, earn everything first. When he went to jail, said, "Hey, if you don't got the money in the bank to hire your own attorney or get yourself out, I can't help you, dude." I have a big heart, and I know other people have had a big heart for me in a time of need, and they were there for me. So when I was able to do that for somebody else, I wanted to return that favor. But it's the part I played in making it happen, and I have to own that. Even though I was trying to do something good, I was being really naive. I wanted to believe in something so bad that I convinced myself it was true, and it wasn't. So that's the part I had. What did I learn about myself about the pain? And by the way, these are the questions I ask myself before I point the finger of blame at anybody. And so how does this affect the blame game? It's answer all these questions. If you can take any ownership of this stuff, you're just as much to blame. So it doesn't pay to focus on the other person, is basically what we're getting at here. So, and I'm just using one of my most recent experiences to validate how this works in my book. So what did I learn about myself, about the pain? I learned I'm stronger than I thought. I learned that crying is a good thing. I've learned not that I'm giving up, but not to panic, to accept fate. Very painful, but that acceptance is worth its weight in gold once you hit that point. There's agony and there's tears and there's grief before you get to that. But I got to it very quickly, probably within a couple of weeks. So, but that comes from practice, because some of the other stuff I've been through, that I went through the process and accepted. And, I'm fully in acceptance. Either God is going to perform a miracle or I'm going to die. It just is what it is. I can't sit around and think about it and worry on it and panic and have anxiety. It just is what it is. How can I improve? Well, given time, I can definitely see that I can improve by not being so naive, not being so trusting, not wearing my heart on my sleeve. Even if nobody ever comes into my life, even as a friend, make the person prove themselves first. At all times. And if they have to prove themselves and they don't feel that I'm valuable enough to do that, they don't belong in my life. If nobody is ever in my life, I have to accept that that's okay too. It does get lonely. It does get hard sometimes. And on those times, you want to fall back onto the belief that people are good. But I have to remember they're not. And I have to keep that at the forefront at all times. And unfortunately, may never trust again. I've learned the lesson too many times that I have to at some point say no more. So I can improve that way. What strength did I gain? I think I gained the strength of acceptance. I don't really fear anything after the poisoning for my second husband, but I don't know that I necessarily accepted death. That's why I fought it so bad. That's why I got away. And this time I think I'm accepting fate and letting God totally run the ship. 100%. Not trying to do anything to better myself, because At this point, my strength is my total trust in God. Let's put it this way. I had asked the church, knowing, I'm probably going to be homeless soon, looking through what I have to take with me and thinking, well, maybe a month or two before I starve to death or whatever happens um, on the road, I have, enough to hopefully to feed the animals, but there would be some basic supplies that we need, like tampons, pads, toothbrushes or toothpaste, and cleaning wipes, because I don't know where I'll take a shower or anything. So I thought those things I'm going to need a 2-month supply of at least. And so I went to my church and I asked if they could help me out with those things. So when I went in and talked to the secretary, they said yes, they would give me a gift certificate to Walmart. I thought, okay. Well, when I went in, she gave me a $50 gift certificate, which was relatively sufficient, but I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be 2 months worth of tampons, because I don't know when the last time was they bought tampons, but crap's expensive. I thought, whatever, I'll get as much as I can, and be satisfied they're helping me. But then, she was, asking me to come back to church, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm like, I'm homeless. I'm going to smell. We'll get a job somewhere. Where am I going to work? So we kind of start going through this, and I says, I'm tired of this. You're not seeing the whole picture. I have no place to live but my car. So I don't have an alarm clock. I mean, my phone's going to end up getting shut off, and all that. So I was like, how do you expect me to even get there? I don't know how I'm going to afford gas, or anything. And super hot days, hopefully I can put the cats on leashes and keep them outside wherever we end up. I don't even know where I'm going to be able to park my vehicle. So I was like, I'm going through this with this woman who's all, oh, no. Yeah. I says, you know what? I'm sick and tired of mankind. Because I'm in this position because I keep trusting people, and I'm not going to trust you, lady. And she's much younger than me. All of a sudden she goes, well, and she pushes the cart towards me. Well, man is paying for that. Okay, well, a couple of years ago, I needed a battery for my vehicle. I had saved every penny I could to be able to take my vehicle to this place to get this battery changed. It's going to be like $400. The day I had to take it to my appointment, it wouldn't start. The one day it would not start. And I even prayed the night before. I said, please, I just need it to start one more time. It wouldn't start. So I talked to, the pastor's wife and kind of expressed to her what's going on. I says, I'm not even going to have a vehicle now for about 2 weeks because I have to wait till my next paycheck, so I had to pay to tow my vehicle to this place now. I said, I don't have any extra pennies, so I'm not going to make it to church the next 2 weeks because, luckily I worked from home at that time. But I'm like, I can't go anywhere. I didn't have a vehicle, and it was winter. And her and the pastor came over and bought a battery, changed it out in my vehicle, and said we won't accept any money. It was a Christmas gift. And I took that $400. I put $300 of it in the fund that they help other families with, and $100 I gave to the church. I said, I need to give this back. So when I went to church, I took that full money and I gave that to them. And so when she said Nancy, I thought, well, technically $300 I put in there, so this $50 is technically money I put in here. I'm helping myself, sweetheart. As I wanted to say it, I didn't say it. Okay, I was just like, you know what, you're right. You make a very valid point. And I pushed the card back at her and I said, you're right, that is from man. And I won't take anything I haven't earned. I'll let God take care of me. And I walked out of there with nothing. Now, is that pride? No, it's not. She was being smug and condescending and saying that was from man when truly they have been blessed by God. That money that they are blessed with in those churches is from God. People donate it because God wills them to. And I couldn't believe the smugness coming from a church on that. And again, reasons I'm not part of churches. They don't follow God's law at all. They think they're doing this. They're supposed to be acting on behalf of God. not man. So keep that in mind if you're a church representative, such as the church secretary who thinks she knows it all. Anyway, so, I gained great strength. What did they gain from my pain? So what did he gain out of my pain? $3,000 guitar. Lots of equipment. Um, he gained medical treatments for, now see this, I need to go to the doctor, right? I need to have a procedure. No, I paid for $600 in his medical care. It was $1,000, but he did pay me $400 back. That's the only thing he ever paid for was $400 out of his $1,000 medical bill that I took care of. And I couldn't even get mine taken care of. He gained a lot. He gained a whole new, fresh life, free from his warrants that he had out under arrest. He would have been sitting in jail for months before even his trial, and then, without this attorney, he definitely would have done at least 6 years. So he gained freedom from my pain and agony. He got freedom. I got a death sentence, and he got complete freedom. He's the criminal, and I'm the one who hasn't broken the law. I'm going to die, and he's completely free. It's painful. It's just a little painful, yeah. I've accepted it. But there's something about that just doesn't seem right. But if that's the way God wants it, I will accept it. If this is God's will, then so it be done. Am I giving him my power? No. If I were to be angry, like he lashed out at me on social media immediately. I did nothing but think, I put a thing out there thanking the police for removing him from my residence because they did have to come and get him out of here. He got very violent at the end, raised a fist to me like he was going to hit me, kicked my, cat across the room. I mean, it was getting very violent. It was scary, and the police did remove him from my property. I had no choice. I wasn't going to risk, my animals or me to his anger, and I'm pretty sure it was because he was looped up on drugs all night. But, because he was a former drug addict who, after he got here, I'm pretty sure he went back on 100%. I mean, I found some things in the apartment after he left. He was on drugs. He was taking again. But I did not give him my power by lashing back at all in social media, in the community, as people were telling me what was being said of me. That's probably why they believe it, because I'm like, oh, okay. I don't fight back. I'm not giving him or them, if they think I'm really that kind of person, then let them think it. Are they trying to get to know me? No, they're not. So I just didn't feel like putting my energy into fighting back. I just moved on with my life. I just said, I'm not going to let him torment me and gain strength from my aggravation and me being upset. I'm just going to move on. And what people say, people say. I don't care. I don't. So, no, I'm definitely not giving him any power at all. I mean, even his friends came to me and they said, well, this doesn't seem right. And, I would answer their questions, and they were like, yeah, as we thought, he's full of crap. Whether they believe that or not, I don't care. I'll answer questions if people, have them, and from there, but I'm not fighting a battle. I'm not out there trying to win people over to hurt him, where he was purposely. I mean, he just said I was the worst experience of his life. I was this horrible, terrible person. I'm like, yeah, $25,000 later, I'm the monster? Wow. Yeah. Interesting. But anyway, there are no winners if you don't grow from it, and that is true. if you both stick in this blaming each other and attacking each other's system, nobody wins. He still, to this day, his mother talks to me, and he is so mad. He had some girls online reach out to his mother, and they were saying, oh, she's this terrible person, you need to stop talking to her. And his mother's like, no, she's not. I trust her more than I trust my own son. There's no, I will give up my son and bring her into the family. Because you don't know, and the mother was great. She was like, he's very manipulative when he wants his drugs, when he's trying to con people, the mother has a beautiful soul. What he did is no reflection on his family. They're beautiful, wonderful people that I still stay in touch with, and I care about them, and I do love them. There is something seriously wrong with their son. He's a career criminal. He's not a good person. I don't think he ever will be. I think he's been doing this for 40 years. It's not going to stop. He knows how. He came up here and he smelled fresh blood. All these people in this area who are trusting and caring individuals, he just senses this as fresh blood and fresh drug connections. He's not going to change. He really should be in jail for the rest of his life. But that's how I feel, not because of what he did to me, because of the type of person he is. And everyone else will see once he's scammed enough people, including the drug dealers. He can't even go back home because he owes drug dealers money. His parents don't want him back there because they've got orders of protection, basically. He can't even be on their property. And so, when it comes to it, he's still doing so much to try to get people away from me that he's never going to win. I win within myself for just accepting it and for allowing it to help me grow as a person, even if it's the last thing that happens in my life. He's never going to grow from the situation if he keeps fighting the truth. He needs to own the truth before the truth owns him. And if mankind doesn't make him own it, God will. God will make him own everything he's done. And, there's a special place in hell for people like that. And I'm sorry, he always says, well, God's by his side. No, you getting away with that stuff, the devil, you sold your soul to the devil a long time ago. And reversing that and going to God is going to be his biggest testament, because that's where he's going to be at his worst. When he has to actually try to live a godly life. And if he doesn't do it, he's going to hell. So, I win. In the end. I might have died sooner, but I win. I don't know what there was to really win. I won my soul. Kept my soul free from the devil's anger and wrath. And to be the winner, you need to take responsibility. So I can't blame him for the dumb decisions I made to allow him to come into my life, to pay his medical bills, to give him a vehicle to drive, to pay his bail, to get him an attorney, to, gamble everything I had in credit on, equipment for, this group venture we were going to, do together, this music business we were going to try to build. I can't blame him for those decisions. Those were mine. The position I'm in right now is because I allowed myself to get into that position. Not because, he didn't force me by gunpoint or make me do it or actually go out and fraudulently take my credit. No. It's my fault. I trusted when I shouldn't have. And, so I'm not going to play the blame game. Most people in this situation, wouldn't ask themselves these questions. They're just immediately going to start attacking each other, because it's a lot harder to take ownership for what you did and blame somebody else. I could sit and just say it's his fault. He's a con man. He's this terrible person. He belongs in jail for the rest of his life. Blah, 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 blah. He does. I'm not saying no, that's true. But that's not where I'm going to put my focus. I cannot heal and I cannot be a better person if I am so focused on giving him my energy in a negative way. So I'm going to use my energy in a positive way to do everything I can to improve the little bit of life I have left, and by the grace of God, a lot of life left. It's all going to be God's will, not mine. And when I accept that, life can be beautiful again. So I'll take responsibility and say it was my fault. So again, I'm just going to run down the questions in case you're checking. These are questions you should ask yourself, and by the time you get to the end, realize that you can be empowered through this versus blaming the other person. So it's know what they did that hurt you. What did you lose? Why did it hurt? What part did you play in it happening? What did you learn about yourself, about the pain? How can you improve yourself? What strength did you gain? What did they gain from your pain? Are you giving them your power? There's no winners if you don't grow from it. Be the winner and take responsibility. So, it's a quick note, not really all that quick because I ended up using an example. It was supposed to be a lot quicker than that, but I think it was a worthy example to help, see how blame ourselves first. Blame yourself first, because that is the only way you're going to be a better person for tomorrow. And to be a good influence and to be a better influence for society, you have to change yourself and be that better person. Not where you're acting it out, where you're pretending to be that person, where that is just naturally part of you. And it can be seen. It doesn't even need to be spoken. My Bible verse is Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 through 5. Judge not, that you not be judged. For with the judgment and it's getting a little darker, so it's getting a little harder for me to see here. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Oh, how can you say to your brother, let me take that speck out of your eye, when there is the log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. So, again, even the Bible says, look at yourself first. Judge yourself before judging someone else, because you might be the bigger burden. And once you fix your part of the burden, that person then can, you might be carrying the log while they have a speck. So fix the log or the speck in your eye, whichever one it is, before you go to the other person and try to fix them. You can really only fix you. And I think that's really what they're trying to say there is, don't judge, fix yourself first. Because you have your own work to do before you start judging others. All right, that's about all I have to say on this. And I hope we all learned something valuable from my pain and misery. But, I love you all. Later. Mwah.